Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Novel Bushido here today. Hope you guys are doing alright. And today we're going to talk about TGS and some of the first parts that we've seen for the first day. And it's been pretty interesting. Nothing too crazy, but we saw some good stuff. And there's something in particular I want to talk about a bit later. So yeah, stick tuned for that and let's just get straight into it. So it was pretty cool that we got to see an extended video revealing Yian Kut Ku. Yian Kut Ku is an old school monster. I've fought him mostly in GU, and I believe he was in 4 as well. Not particularly hard monster. Bird Wyvern, uses fire attacks, shoots out those Conchu, I think they're called, which are pretty cool. So yeah, it'll be nice to find him. I suppose he's gonna be one of the earlier monsters in this game. Or who knows, maybe they'll make him as strong as Devil Joe. Like maybe he'll get an upgrade. You never know. Now, but on a serious note, it's good to see him back. And it was really interesting that we saw so many of them. There was like 9 of them. It was like crazy. I doubt we're going to actually see that in game. I think at most you can see probably about 5 monsters in one time currently for what we've seen. 9 is a bit too much, so I don't think we're going to see that. But regardless, it's going to be amazing to see some of the monsters, I guess the nest and where they live, but I'm not sure if we're going to see too much with that. But if we can at least get a glimpse of that, that'll be amazing for us to see. Going on to the next thing, the beginner guide was really cool. They actually went through quite a lot of stuff there to talk about how the game works, the questing, weapons, the world. And one thing we learned is about expedition teams and having a handler, a smithy. That seemed just kind of really cool, actually, knowing that everyone has their own team in their own sector doing their own missions. That just seemed really cool to me, you know. It kind of makes me feel like, wow, just imagine if we were all in like a hunter world. Even though us hunters come together, we all have our own particular handler, our own particular smithy. When we're playing the games, because you're isolated into these, maps, and you're talking to the same NPCs and you're talking to the same people, it always kind of made me feel like, oh, we all just go to the same smithy, we all just go to the same handler. But now in Wilds, it kind of gives that feeling that everyone has their own handler and own smithy, which is really cool. It's like you have a personal connection with your own people and your own team to do stuff with. So I'm guessing your team's going to be quite close to you. They're going to be very interesting and useful. And for the story's sake, it feels like they're going to be involved in a lot of the things that's going on in the story, which is very cool to see. And I can't wait to see that in game. But it's not just them. Also, the other NPCs in the surroundings, some of the other villagers, you see them walking about, you see them talking, how they're interacting. It seems like this game is going to have a big impact on story. You're going to see the NPCs having a lot to do with the story. They're going to be talking, interacting, they'll probably give you quests, give you recipes, and so on. So interacting with these NPCs and making sure you're actually doing that quest seems to be something that's going to be quite big for this game. The 2 last things I want to talk about, I guess they can kind of be the same thing. I want to talk about the fact that they confirmed that it's open world. Now I thought they deconfirmed it, but apparently they didn't deconfirm it, and yeah, it is actually open world. Which for me, open world is not my favorite type of games, but I can accept open world games. Now the reason I don't like open world games too much is normally a lot of open world games kind of feel a bit barren. They feel a bit empty. As you go throughout the games, it always just kind of feels like there's not enough to do. There's not enough places. There's all these nice places to go, nice environments, and maybe nice music. But the things to do there and how rich and how well thought the game is, I've always found it as a struggle. The only games that I found like did open world like almost perfectly is MMOs, where there's so much put into these games for people to play literally thousands of hours that they're forced and they're built from the ground up to be open world and just exploring with multiple people, hundreds of people, in some cases thousands of people in one world. But when it comes to the single player MMOs or single player games, so RPGs, action games, and it's open world, I always feel kind of lost and feel a bit disjointed from the story and just from the beats going around. And now that this is the first open world game in Capcom, in their words, there's no loading screens, you can walk between zones. Now that you can do that, I'm just wondering, how does this impact multiplayer, and how does this impact, I guess now they're pushing the story, how does it impact story? For example, if there's one monster out in the field and you want to kill it, can I just kill it no matter what this, if it has to do with the story? Can I do that? Can I just go to any map whenever I want, or am I going to be limited to certain areas until I'm able to go there, similar to what they did in World, for example? There are some maps where they don't allow you to go to all the places until you've unlocked further in the story, so you're actually isolated to certain parts of the map. And I'm wondering if it's going to be like that, or if it's going to be more free flowing and you can just go wherever you want, whenever you want. And that's got me really curious, but mostly about the multiplayer stuff. Like when I'm playing with multiple people, how is it going to work? Is it just going to be 4 people in the world, or is it going to be 16? How a hub's going to work? If I just invite 3 people to my hub, will you just be coming into my world and we just run around in the world together? And what happens when you separate? How does that work with monsters and the scaling? Like, there's just so many questions. And definitely my multiplayer, we have like almost no answers. Because I'm thinking, if I'm in my friend's map and I'm like, hey, okay, you're fighting here, I'm gonna go over to the Scarlet Forest, I'm gonna go over there. You can find it in the plains, the sandy plains. Yeah, sandy ass guy, and he's just there. Like, will me being over there scale up his monster for 2 people? Because if that's the case, then what's the point of the open world, right? The open world mode play is that you can go wherever you want, you can do whatever you want. But if I'm up with other people and it's all scaling up because I'm not with my friend, even though I'm with him, but I'm not personally there with him at the same time, then that kind of seems like a bit of a downfall, playing with friends in an open way, right? Unless you're actually there fighting together at all times, it just kind of feels like a hindrance. You're just a hindrance to each other. And how does this work when you consider stories, since it's open world? It's not quest based like it used to be. You know, quests just kind of happen on the spot. When you're out there, things just happen. I'm just so curious about the aspect of the game, the multiplayer and the open world, and how it works in this whole game in general. I don't really have any ideas, and hopefully Capcom can actually fix that for us soon. They can give us some more information. So maybe when we get a demo, we'll fully know and understand how the game's supposed to work when it comes to multiplayer. Because I'm thinking, imagine you can be out there in your wild. Let's say 16 player hubs were back. We're back. And you're just there with 16 or 15 of your friends and you're just running about, doing all your own stuff. But then obviously, if there's like 15 people hitting the same monster, that's going to be a dog pile. Like, there's no way you can do that. But just the idea of everyone doing their own thing in their own side of the map, that's cool. But I guess you can't really do that because you're all going to be the same map. It's all the same instance, isn't it? So these implications change so much when it comes to multiplayer and just questing in general. And yeah, we need to know. But apart from that, a lot of people have been talking about performance, and the performance seems like it's going to be rough. You're going to have quite high rig, and that adds into the actual open world. Since it's open world like this, will there be a lot of popping? Will there be a lot of frame starters and frame drops? And I mean, I've already seen in the background the textures or some of the more minute elements in the game, definitely on low polygon, low res, maybe not enough detail or color, which is, I mean, it's fine for me. I'm not going to judge them too much, but it's definitely something that you can notice in the game itself. I wonder if they're ever actually gonna, by the time the game comes out, they're gonna, you know, patch some of that, or they're gonna fix some of that. But that might just be the end result of an open world game. Right? The open world games, they're so large that sometimes it's hard to fill in the finer details because there's just so much details. And I hope it doesn't, the fact that it's open world doesn't hinder how the formula is for normal hunting. Like, there isn't a way to just break the game by accidentally stumbling across a really strong monster or just getting some drops. You know, okay, I got the strongest weapon straight away now I can do whatever I want. I want there to be a good formula to it and for things to make sense. You should be fighting these monsters at this time, to get these weapons, to fight other monsters at this time, to fight other monsters at this time, blah, blah, blah. Like, I want it to have structure, I want it to have depth, like we did in the old games. But this is their first venture into open world. But I'm hoping they actually borrowed some advice from other Capcom teams. I guess another big open world team is Dragon's Dogma team. I know people harp about Dragon's Dogma 2 and how bad its performance and they don't like the game, but I think still just understanding a bit of the open world game for Monster Hunter would be beneficial, as Capcom have never truly done a full open world Monster Hunter game on consoles at least. So this is very exciting. This is very exciting. But yeah, we have so many questions and hopefully we'll find them out tomorrow or throughout the week. So they've actually got a live stream happening tomorrow, quite late for me, at 5 AM. So I would love to see you guys there if you want to come through. We'll start like 30 minutes before just to chat and chill. Yeah, come support your boy. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. I'll catch you guys next time. See you.